Welcome back to the XandO Sports Show. I'm your host, Ricky G. Stanley. Tonight, we're going to have a good one. The sports world is jam-packed. We got the NFL coming up on us in a couple weeks. We got the Olympics coming up in the NBA. We also have the Olympics for this track and field. We also have the finals. There are 3-2 series. I did not predict that correctly, but we're going to talk about that as well. But speaking of basketball, what on earth is going on with the Olympic team? And a lot of people reached out to me and asked me, what do you think, Rick? I think we blew it out of proportion. When I looked at the team, the way it was built, it kind of reminded me of an all-offensive team. So it was kind of like a Steve Nash team, like 2006, all offense, could put up 130 points, but they ain't going to play a lick of defense. Not at all. So I felt like the way I looked at who was out on out on the court at the time, that's what it kind of reminded me of. You got 5 guys that can hoop, that can play. All those guys are stars on their team. Depends on what rotation is in. All those guys are stars. But who is going to take the back seat to play a role for their team to win? I'll give you an example. The last Olympics, America won with Kobe, and it was 2012. I think it was his last Olympics. And I want to remember it was either that Olympics or the one before when they won. I'm sorry, it was the one before that. So it's like 2008 Olympics. I remember when Kobe took the back seat in one game, it was like, hey, I'm shutting him down tonight. We ain't got to worry about him. And he put all his energy on defense to shut him down. I want to say it maybe been Bobosa or one of those guys from Brazil. I remember when he played him and he shut him down the whole night, got into his stuff real good, made him feel very uncomfortable. But who on Team USA can do that? Be like, hey, we playing Slovenia. They got a bunch of shooters. You know, that bad guy from the Dallas Mavericks. He's playing for Slovenia. Yeah. So who's going to check him? Who's going to stop him? Because you can play freelance basketball and let him get 50, and you may be down by 20. So I feel like someone's going to have to play a role that they normally don't. Like Jason Tatum is used to scoring, but he's long, he's rangy. If he bend his back, he could be a pretty good defender. Kevin Durant, we know he's going to shoot the basketball. But one night he may have to be the best defender on the court. So sometimes one of those two guys will have to take the back seat and be like, hey, I'm shutting this guy down tonight. Because in the Olympics, you ain't got, outside of exhibition, you ain't got too many games to lose before you're out. So I feel like that 5-game exhibition kind of gave Pop like, okay, what do I have this year? I ain't got a Kobe that's going to do whatever it takes to win. I ain't got a LeBron, D-Wade, Melo, which is way more talented than everybody outside of the United States. I don't have those guys this year, so I got a young crew, and I feel like the first 2 games we got embarrassed. But I don't think it was a bad thing because it was a wake-up call. But the second game, it shocked everybody. It was like, oh my gosh, they're 0-2. And I was looking like, I mean, the USA have not won the Olympics every year we had the Olympics. Remember the reason for the Dream Team and the rebirth for the Dream Team? There was a reason for that. So like I said, other countries are playing well. Shout out to Nigeria for waking us up. And I want to say we lost to Australia. They normally have a good basketball team as well. We beat, I forgot the team that we did beat, and I did see that we beat Spain as of yesterday or today. So looking forward to once the Olympics actually start, the lineup that he's going to have and how we're going to match up against these other teams. So as for could they win it all? That is for us to see. However, in their defense, they have never played together, but I look at it as like, you guys are professionals. You got to figure it out. This is what you get paid to do. This is what you do for fun. You dedicate all your time to it, mostly, unless you're Ben Simmons. Yeah, I'm still cooking that guy. But they are missing Devin Booker. They are missing Drew Holiday and Chris Middleton. I think Chris Middleton is a good two-way player that could make a difference. Hey, Chris Middleton, I might not need 25 for you tonight, but I'm going to need that long, rangy defense to shut somebody down tonight. So I feel like he could help. Devin Booker's going to bring firepower, and Drew Holiday is a very good two-way player as well. So that could make a difference. I think Popovich went out and, hey, I got these guys. Let me see what they can do. So I don't feel like it's panic mode in the exhibition games. We did go 2-2, so that's 500. Not the worst thing in the world. Hopefully we just don't go up against a powerhouse first game and get knocked out. Let's see. Next we have the NBA Finals. The NBA Finals, if you look at my last episode, I did a series with the one and only Jasmine L. Spain from Main Initiative. We both talked about the game and how it was looking. I wanted to make sure before I made my prediction, I watched a game to see how the teams would come out and see if everybody would be healthy. I predicted if the Bucks played into the Suns style of basketball, they would get blowed out. It would be 4-1 series and it'd be over and everybody's already home for vacation. But the Bucks did try that in the first two games and they got smacked. So I do like that they did change the way they did things. So I also made the statement, in order for you to make this series interesting, at least take it to 6 games, you need to attack Chris Paul. Chris Paul is a good, if not great, point guard, but he was only born to be 6 foot. You have Drew Holiday that's 6'3", 205 pounds, and is physical and can play defense. Attack Chris Paul. Chris Middleton, you're 6'7". Attack Devin Booker. Devin Booker is a lights out scorer, but as you can see, when I mentioned attack him on when he's on defense, that would take some spunk out of his shot, and it has. His shot falls early, but if he has to play defense or he get in foul trouble or he gets frustrated, that shot ain't falling late. That just comes with time and effort. Devin Booker, you're doing your thing, but the Bucks came to play. So tomorrow night, I really think the Suns, well, they don't have no choice. They have to tie it up tomorrow night or it's over. Nobody had the Bucks winning. I don't care who you are. Even their Hall of Famer that won the first title for them. I always get these guys mixed up. I know his face. I want to say Kareem. Yeah. Sorry, I blanked out there. Yeah, I want to say it was Kareem that said, no, they can't win with the team they have. So even he made the statement that he didn't believe they could win. So they could win tomorrow night and shut the whole world up. But the next story is going to be who was bigger, Giannis or Chris Middleton, because they always say that Giannis has been playing Robin instead of Batman. If Chris Middleton wins the MVP, would they still place Giannis as not the best player on the planet? That's going to be the next headline. Just you watch. But like I said, I think the Suns are still in it. I had them to win in 6 games, which they have disappointed that part. But if it goes into game 7 and they manage to win it, I won't be mad. But if Giannis wins his first title, I will not be mad either, because I feel like he earned it. He didn't take any lucky way out. You know, good job, Giannis, for sticking it out there. He's playing on both sides. I don't know what kind of drugs they have him on, but that knee was in bad shape. But now he's playing great. So, you know, who knows? Maybe that MCL or whatever he hurt, he's going to have to get touched up in the offseason. But we'll find out. And this is also why the games are played and not on paper. Moving on to the rumors. Damian Lillard is thinking about leaving. What I think about that is they're running out of stuff to write about. That is speculation and guessing. There's so many teams. Oh, he could go to this team. He can go to this team. He can go to that team. What happens if he suits up for the Blazers next year? All of this is for nothing. I think they're running out of things and they're reaching. Until Damian Lillard comes out to the world and say, hey, I am going to be traded or I want to be traded, I don't really care. It's all speculation. It's clickbait. I try not to use clickbait on my videos just because of the fact that I try to use what I feel is relevant and not for clickbait. So next is the NFL. Aaron has not made a decision if he would come back next year. It's going to really suck for football if Aaron Rodgers does not come back, and he was the NFL MVP last year. And he was almost, I think, he lost to the Bucs, so he was one game from the Super Bowl. That's kind of tough. The fact that you were pretty much the best player in the NFL, according to the MVP stats, and you're not coming back to play because of, they're mistreating you or you feel slighted there. I feel like this is very bad for football. I mean, I don't feel like anybody in the NFC North could beat Green Bay. I have the Vikings making some competition against Green Bay, but with Green Bay being good, like with him playing there with no distraction, I feel like nobody was really going to run up on him. But this is going to be a very troublesome year if they don't play him. Well, I'm sorry, if he don't play. And it's going to kind of take a little bit of the spunk out of the NFC. But we'll see. He wants to demand a trade. Aaron, if you're listening, I think you should take care of business. Come back, play in the NFL this year, win their Super Bowl, and then demand a trade next year and give them 2 middle fingers. So today, we're getting to our new segment. This is our second time doing it, if I'm not mistaken. First bold statement of today. Now, like I said, I go back and I look at older players. I may compare an old player to a new player or 2 new players that play similar to the same style, and I pick one over the other. But it's my bold statement, but it's up to you in the comments or for your rebuttal to say, hey, you're wrong, or hey, I think this guy is better. So, like, I'm here for all the chemistry that we can make by doing this bold statement. So, first bold statement, and I'm going to piss a lot of Bear fans off, but, is what it is. I would take London Fletcher over Brian Urlacher's career. I would take London Fletcher. He was one of the most underrated players in my eye when it came to the middle linebacker position. Most people are like, oh, he didn't win a lot of playoff games, or hey, he didn't win a Super Bowl. Who cares? The dude balled out every game, every year. He just, was always on a terrible team. This guy played for 16 seasons. Never missed a game. So I'm going to read off his stats to you. As a middle linebacker, he had 23 interceptions, 19 forced fumbles, and 2,039 tackles. Yes, let that sit in your spirit. You look at Brian Urlacher's stats, I mean, it's not bad. I think Fletcher had 1 more interception, 2 more forced fumbles, and 1,000 more tackles. We're talking about a middle linebacker, and if certain schemes, if you run a 4-3 defense, a lot of times when people used to call like ISO plays or wham plays, they will leave the middle linebacker unblocked. So that means they'll try to block everybody else, and if he doesn't make the tackle, it's off to the races possibly, or a big game. So that's why Luke Kuechly will have like 150 tackles sometimes, depends on who he's playing that year. Also, Luke Kuechly was also a great athlete, so he can run sideline to sideline. But a lot of times, even on the stretch plays, they will leave the middle linebacker unblocked, go to the next level, and like, okay, well, he will just get slowed down in the mesh or the trash, which is like, another defender getting blocked into him. They can beat him around the bush. So they will move on to the next level to try to go get the safety. If he makes that play, great. If he doesn't, it's off to the races. So I feel like at his position, he played a 4-3 middle linebacker and an inside linebacker at a 3-4 defense. He played both schemes. He played well. And I stand behind my statement. I would take London Fletcher over Brian Urlacher's career. No sneeze to Brian Urlacher. He played well. But this is my statement, and I'm sticking with it. All right, bold statement number 2. I will take Bruce Smith and Reggie White in any era over, y'all ready for it? Julius Peppers and Michael Strahan. So how I came up with this was I found the 2 best guys from a different era and 2 of the NFL sack leaders from the modern era. And Julius Peppers and Michael Strahan were at the top. I will take Bruce Smith and Reggie Wayne over them both. So if you put Bruce Smith and Reggie Wayne on the same team and you put those 2 guys on the other team, I'm putting my money on them. If you guys are just watching new players, go and look and see how Michael Strahan and Julius Peppers kind of took some things from these guys' game to elevate theirs. Now, Michael Strahan and Julius Peppers are freaks of nature, like the way they're built. But like I said, I would take both of those guys over that. These guys, if they played in a modern era, they will kill every offensive lineman in front of them. Like, these dudes were violent. Oh my goodness. Reggie White had some of the most violent hands I've ever seen as a defensive lineman. He is clubbing, he is dipping, he is ripping, and he is putting you on skates. As an offensive lineman, if you didn't wear them forearm pads or them gloves, you're going to break something. He was a violent man on the field. Bruce Smith playing for the Bills. I watched him play. Good Lord. That was a violent man. So I would take both of them over the modern day sack leaders of Julius Peppers and Michael Strahan. If you think otherwise, put them in the comments. Like I said, I love both of those players in the modern day. Strahan had a great run with the Giants. Julius Peppers as well. He played with Carolina, the Bears, and Green Bay. Like I said, he was a freak of nature. I can't take anything from them individually, but if I had a team 2 up versus 2, I would take those 2. So, like I said, that is my statement, and I am sticking with it. So those are my 2 bold statements for the day. So as for my NFL, I am going to do some early predictions. I could be wrong, but I'm going to do some early predictions, and we will adjust them if there are injuries or one team just ain't playing well that I picked. So we will adjust them. So my early predictions for the NFL divisions, I will adjust them as accordingly, as I stated. So for the NFC West, I have the Seahawks coming out of their division and the Cardinals coming out as second. Yes, I have the Cardinals coming out second. I don't think they're going to beat Russell Wilson twice, but I have them coming out. NFC South, I got Tampa Bay and the Saints coming out second with Jameis Winston at the helm. I think the Panthers will play well. I give them 8-8 and 9-7 this season. It won't be a bad season, but I just feel like unless the playoffs align and somebody else plays very terrible, I don't think 3 teams from the NFC South is coming out. So I have, like I said, the Bucs and the Saints coming out. Now this is a tough one. NFC East is tough for me because I am an Eagles fan, also a Philly fan. So for the NFC East, I'm going to shock the world. I'm going to say that my Eagles are coming out number 1 and the Cowboys will be second. I just got a good feeling about it. If we come out healthy under that new regime, fresh faces, new quarterback, new scheme, I don't feel like nobody's going to be ready for us. And I feel like we could be, if not injury prone this year, I think we could be one of the top teams coming out of the NFC. I don't think we have enough yet to get it done as to win another Super Bowl yet, but I feel like we will find a way to beat the Cowboys, beat the Giants, and long as we stay alive against that defensive line for the Redskins. I don't fear the Redskins as much because I don't feel like they have the quarterback situation figured out. You can play lights out defense, but you're going to need to kick more than field goals now. So I don't fear the Redskins. The Giants, I feel like we can beat, and all we have to do is split and win our head-to-head matchups with the Cowboys. So I feel like we can come out. That's my bold statement for them. As for the NFC West, no, we did the West first, South, East, NFC North. Okay, so this one was a little different. If Aaron Rodgers don't play, the Vikings will come out first, and the Bears will be second. Yeah, like that. I don't see them really doing too well without Aaron. I mean, Jordan Love could be a good quarterback, but you got to prove it to me. So I got the Vikings and the Bears coming out with the young quarterback. I think by week 6, if the Bears aren't doing well, they're going to play Justin Fields. But AFC South, Titans will come out first with that grown man Henry and that new vamped offense with those 2 receivers. You know, Julio Jones is one, but I think Brown is going to have a good year because they're going to have to bracket Julio if he starts getting off on people. So AFC South, Titans. Then I have the Colts coming out. That's what it is. Okay, so the Titans are coming out number 1. Colts are number 2. For some reason, I got a bad feeling that the Colts are going to find a way to win at least 10 games with my ex-quarterback, Carson Wentz. I really feel like he can beat the Jaguars. And I want to say the Texans are there. So all they have to do is beat those two teams and split with the Titans. And I feel like they can get into playoffs. AFC East, the Bills, and then I have the Dolphins coming out number 2. No, I do not have the Patriots coming out this year. Unless they decide to move on for Cam and put that young guy in, I don't think nobody fears Cam anymore. So unless Cam, you have something to prove me wrong. But I don't have you and the Patriots coming out. That would shape the NFL playoff history for the last 20, 21 years. There'll be two years back to back that they don't make it, and I don't have them making it. Let's see who we have next. AFC West. I have Kansas City coming out number 1, and I have the Chargers coming out number 2. Yes, I feel like John Gruden is not going to get it together this year either. So I have the Chargers coming out, and the fact that John Gruden would be there for the 4th or 5th year. If he don't get it going this year, somebody's getting fired. He won't be the first, but if he do it another year, somebody will be walking this year. So, only time would tell. Games are not played on paper. They are played on the field or the court. But as for time, this is mine. I'm your host, Ricky G. Stanley, and I am out of here.